Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. His Holiness Bhakti Ratnakar Ambarish Swami Maharaj is a revival leader and dedicated devotee of Swami. महाराज जी 1990 में उन्होंने फुल टाइम सर्विस किया था मॉस्को में और इस प्रकार से उन्होंने कृष्ण भावना को रशिया में भेजने का सेवा किया। 1990 में इस होलिनेस गोपाल कृष्ण गोस्वामी महाराज के शिक्षाओं से प्रेरित
दीक्षा है 1992 में गौर पूर्णिमा के दिन मायापुर में हुआ और उनका नाम हुआ अम्बरीश स्वामी महाराज। सेकेंड इनिशिएशन भी ब्राह्मण दीक्षा 1994 में हुआ था। इस प्रकार से 25 साल तक वो पुस्तक वितरण करते रहे और संकीर्तन इत्यादि बहुत सारे सेवा करते रहे। 2016 में महाराज जी ने संन्यास दीक्षा का ग्रहण किया और हाल ही में कुछ महीने महाराज जी जब गोलोक वृंदावन चले गए थे तो उसके बाद भक्ति रत्नाकर अम्बरीश स्वामी महाराज दीक्षा गुरु भी बने और इस प्रकार से बहुत सारे भक्तों को भी प्रेरणा दे रहे हैं। तो आइए हम लोग भक्ति रत्नाकर अम्बरीश स्वामी महाराज को श्री श्री राधा कुंज बिहारी मंदिर में हम लोग एक बार स्वागत करेंगे हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र बोल के। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हिज होलीनेस भक्ति रत्नाकर अम्बरीश स्वामी महाराज की।
So how many of you can understand English?
Maharaj?
50%. In Kutir. Okay. So Hindi translation will be in Kutir.
In the Kutir. हिंदी का अनुवाद कुटीर में चल रहा है, कृपया करके हिंदी के भक्त वहां पे कुटीर में बैठ सकते हैं। हरे कृष्ण।
We have verse on the screen. Yes. So today we are reading 7th Canto, Chapter 6. Prahlad Maharaj instructs his demonic schoolmates. Verse 11 to 13. Katham priyaya anukam pritaya Katham priyaya anukam pritaya Sangam rahasyam ruchiram shamantram Sangam rahasyam ruchiram shamantram Suhrit sutat snehasita sisunam Suhritsutat snehasitašisanam Kalaksaranam anurakta chittaham Kalaksaranam anurakta chittaham Putram smaram shaduhitrir hridayam Putram smaram shaduhitrir hridayam Bratrin svasirva pitarau charinam Bratrin svasirva pitarau charinam Grihan manojnor parichadam sha Grihan manojnor parichadam sha Britishya kulya pasubritya vargan Britishya kulya pasubritya vargan Tyajeta kosha skridivehamanaha Tyajeta kosha skridivehamanaha Karmani lobhada vitripta kamaha Karmani lobhada vitripta kamaha Aupastya jayvam bahumanyamanaha Aupastya jayvam bahumanyamanaha Katham virajeta duram tamoha Katham virajeta duram tamoha So, someone can repeat one verse, the next verse, one verse, one person, one verse. Yeah? Because 3 verses are there. Ayanukampidaya Ahasam Visham Shamantam Sutat Snehasam Aksharana Manurakta Chitta. Next. Next. Shatakosha Anybody else wants to chant? So we will do word by word. Katham, how, Priyaya, of the dearmost wife, Anukampitaya, always affectionate and compassionate, Sangam, the association, Rahasyam, solitary, Ruchiran, very pleasing and acceptable. Cha and Mantran, instructions. Suhritsu, to the wife and children. Tatsnehasitaha, being bound by their affection. Shishunam, to the small children. Kala aksaranam, speaking in the broken language. Anurakta chittaha, a person whose mind is attracted. Putran, the sons. Smaran, thinking of. Taha, them. Duhitri, the daughters, married and staying at the homes of their husbands. Hridaya, always situated in the core of the heart. Bratrin, the brothers. Svasriva, all the sisters. Pitra, father and mother. Cha and Dina, who in old age are mostly invalids. Rihan, household affairs. Manogya, very attractive. Uru, much. Parichadan, furniture. Cha and Vritti, big source of income. Industry, business. Cha and Kulyaha, connected with the family. Pasu, of animals. Cows, elephants, and other household animals. Britya, servants and maidservants. Vargan, groups. Tyajita, can give up. Koshakrit, the silkworm. Eva, like. Ihamanaha, performing. Karmani, different activities. Lobhat, because of insatiable desires. Avitriptakamaha, whose increasing desires are not satisfied. Aupastya, pleasure from the genitals. Chaivam, and the tongue. Bahumanyamanaha, considering as very important. Katham, how Virajita is able to give up. Durantamoha, being in great illusion. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada Ki. How can a person who is most affectionate to his family, the core of his heart being always filled with their pictures, give up their association? Specifically, a wife is always very kind and sympathetic and always pleases her husband in a solitary place. Who could give up the association of such a dear and affectionate wife? Small children talking a broken language very pleasing to hear, and their affectionate father always sings of their sweet words. How could he give up their association? One's elderly parents and one's sons and daughters are also very dear. A daughter is specifically dear to her father, and while living at her husband's house, she is always in his mind. Who could give up that association? Aside from this, in household affairs there are many decorated items of household furniture, and there are also animals and servants. Who could give up such comforts? The attached householder is like a silkworm which weaves a cocoon in which it becomes imprisoned, unable to get out. Simply for the satisfaction of two important senses, the genitals and the tongue, one is bound by material condition. How can one escape? It's difficult to imagine how a 5-year-old boy is saying such things. Very deep realization. Purport. In household affairs, the first attraction is a beautiful and pleasing wife, who increases household attraction more and more. One enjoys his wife with two prominent sense organs, namely the tongue and the genitals. The wife speaks very sweetly. This is certainly an attraction. Then she prepares very palatable foods to satisfy the tongue. And when the tongue is satisfied, one gains strength in the other sense organs, especially the genitals. Thus the wife gives pleasure in sexual intercourse. Household life means sex life. Yad maidunadi griyamedi sukam hiducham. This is encouraged by the tongue. Then there are children. A baby gives pleasure by speaking sweet words in broken language. And when the sons and daughters are grown up, one becomes involved in their education and marriage. Then there are one's own father and mother to be taken care of, and one also becomes concerned with the social atmosphere and with pleasing his brothers and sisters. A man becomes increasingly entangled in household affairs, so much so that leaving them becomes almost impossible. Thus the household becomes griham andhakupam, a dark well into which the man has fallen. For such a man to get out is extremely difficult unless he is helped by a strong person. The spiritual master who helps the fallen person with a strong rope of spiritual instructions. A fallen person should take advantage of this rope, and then the spiritual master or the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna will take him out of the dark well. Katham priyaya nukamplitaya sangam rahasyam ruchiram shamantam soritsutat snehasita shishunam ulaksharanam anurakta chitta putram smaramsya taduhitrir hridaya bratrin svasrirva pitara chalina vyammanagyodu parichadamsya vritishcha kulla pasubritya vargam Yajeta kosha skridive hamana karmani lobha davitripta kama aupastya jaivam bahumanyamana tatam vairajyata duranta moha. How can a person who is the most affectionate to his family, the core of his heart being always filled with their pictures, give up their association. Specifically, a wife is always very kind and sympathetic and always pleases her husband in a solitary place. Who could give up the association of such a dear and affectionate wife? Small children talk in broken language, very pleasing to hear. Their affectionate father always thinks of their sweet words. How could he give up their association? One's elderly parents and one's sons and daughters are also very dear. A daughter is especially dear to her father, and while living at her husband's house, she is always in his mind. Who could give up that association? Aside from these household affairs, there are many decorated items of household furniture. There are also animals and servants. Who could give up such comforts? The attached householder is like a silkworm which weaves a cocoon in which it becomes imprisoned, unable to get out, simply for the satisfaction of two important senses, the genitals and the tongue. One is bound by material conditions. How can one escape? Om Agyanatimirandhasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chaksunam Militam Yana Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yana Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Tadachi Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuda Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagna Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvetam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sagna Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Tinabana Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sutadevi Pranamami Hari Priya Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyaivacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishta Bhutale Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatyare Satarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasri Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Very beautiful description of our attachments. Very long list, 3 verses. This is the result of one trying to enjoy family life. He is getting very long list of attachments. very strong attraction between man and women, so as a result, great attachment. Wife, children, household, furniture, animals, very, very long list. And that's why Prahlad Maharaj is comparing such a person with a silkworm, and it's become trapped in this cocoon. He is making this cocoon, and after some time he becomes imprisoned. He could not get out of this cocoon. Why Srimad Bhagavatam is giving these descriptions? Why Prahlad Maharaj is giving so much stress on this? Why? That we can understand our position. First of all, to get out, one has to understand that he is imprisoned, actually. First step is to understand. Don't think that they are imprisoned. They are thinking that we are in the best position. When they see brahmacharis, they are thinking, horrible, how they can live like this without any enjoyment. They don't think that they have some problem. They are thinking that they are in the better position. They don't have this understanding that there is some problem with this. That's why Srimad Bhagavatam is giving many descriptions like this, especially Lord Kapiladev is giving wonderful description, many verses. Here only 3 verses, but Lord Kapiladev dedicates something like 10 verses to this problem. It's chapter 31, the movements of the living entities. As a result of these attachments, one has to change bodies many times, millions of times. That's why Srimad Bhagavatam is giving stress on this topic. Verse 35. The infatuation and bondage which occur to a man from attachment to any other object is not as complete as that resulting from attachment to a woman or to the fellowship of a man who are fond of women. And Lord Kapiladev is giving an example of Lord Brahma, verse 36. At the sight of his own daughter, Brahma was bewildered by her charms and shamelessly ran up to her in the form of a stag when she took the form of a hind. He was attracted by his own daughter. So, this attraction is very strong. Even Lord Brahma was bewildered by this attraction. what to say about us. That's why in Vedic culture one has to undergo brahmachari ashram, yes, to train his mind and senses not to become attached. But because Grihastha ashram is very attractive to many people, so one has to undergo this, and usually he becomes attached. It's very difficult to be in Grihastha ashram and not to become attached. That's why next step is Vanaprastha ashram. If one wants to get rid of these attachments, he will have to perform tapasya. It's very difficult to get rid. Here Prahlad Maharaj is saying, who can become renowned, who can renounce these attachments? It's very difficult. That's why in Vedic culture, one has to make next step, he has to go through Vanaprastha ashrams and he takes sannyas. This happened in the life of Gopal Krishna Maharaj. In 1974, Srila Prabhupada said that I want you to become GBC for India. He was serving in America, Canada, and America. And he was Grihastha, he had wife, child. And he came back to his wife and he said, Srila Prabhupada wants me to go to India. Will you go with me? She said, no, I will not go. He came back to Srila Prabhupada, he said, what to do? She does not want to go to India. Srila Prabhupada said, oh, it's a sign from Krishna. You should take Vanaprastha and go to India and you'll do your service there. And he did, because Srila Prabhupada said this. He went to Mumbai, he became a GBC for India, and his wife, she left in America. So, sometimes it can happen very quickly, like if a spiritual master is saying like this. Sometimes it takes a long time. But one has to make this step if he wants to get rid of attachments. But sometimes there are quite renounced householders also. They are living together, but they are not attached. They are preaching, they are making so much service. So there are also examples like this, but it's very rare. Usually ones become very much attached. Prahlad Maharaj is giving such a vivid descriptions how one's mind is completely filled with the thoughts of his children and household paraphernalia. It's very difficult to think of Krishna when your mind is completely absorbed by these household affairs. But Lord Chaitanya gave us the best medicine if one is chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. If we are really chanting, we are attentively chanting, completely absorbed in chanting, so even in the household life one can be not attached if he is really doing this practice properly. if one hearing Srimad Bhagavatam every day and chanting, so his attachment will not be so strong as it is described in this verse. There will be some attachment, of course, because he has this association with the family. Attachment will be there, but it will not be so strong. It happened in Srila Prabhupada's life. When his father wanted him to become married, he proposed him a candidate for marriage, but Srila Prabhupada did not like that girl, and he said, no, she is not very beautiful, and his father said, it's good that you are not attracted by her beauty. It will help you in the future. And Srila Prabhupada obeyed his father and he married this girl, and it helped him in the future because he was not so attracted and attached, so it was not difficult for him in the future to take vanaprastha life. No, we have many examples. Srila Prabhupada was Rihasta for a long time, from 1922 to 1956, something like this. Around 56 he took vanaprastha. 34 years he was Grihastha. And when his Guru Maharaj was coming in the dream and was calling him, Srila Prabhupada was telling that I was waking up and I was very afraid Guru Maharaj wants me to take sannyasa. So some attachment was there. But at some point he understood that it's time. When he came back from his traveling, and he asked his wife, please bring me my Srimad Bhagavatam. He said, I don't have it. I have exchanged the Srimad Bhagavatam for the cookies, for the tea. And Srila Prabhupada said, now you have to make choice, me or tea. And she said, of course tea. The same night, Srila Prabhupada left home. He understood this very obvious sign from Krishna. I have to move forward. And the same night he left home without taking anything. He did not took anything, no money, no paraphernalia, just woke up with empty hands. He came to his friend and he asked him for some money to buy a ticket to Vrindavan. So he left and he never came again back to his home. Although his wife was sending some few times just to get him back. But he never came again to his home. He understood now it's time to surrender completely to the preaching. So one has to be very sensitive what Krishna wants me to do. What spiritual master wants me to do. Because sometimes we could not understand ourselves the signs from Krishna. He's given many signs, but many times we cannot understand the signs, so we can approach more mature devotee or spiritual master if he is available. We can approach them and we can ask what we should do. So attachment is very strong, and sometimes one is very weak, he cannot overcome this attachment, he needs help. He needs help, so in this purport, Srila Prabhupada is saying that he needs help from a spiritual master. Spiritual master is given a rope in the form of his instructions. But one has to take this rope. Then spiritual master can help. Otherwise, if the rope is just lying and we are not taking it, how he will help? So one needs to hear the instructions, but he has to apply the instructions. Otherwise, it's only sound vibration. It will not help. Although this sound vibration is very strong, when the spiritual master is speaking, he can cut these attachments. But still our attachments are also very strong. He's cutting, but we are keeping them very strongly. So we have to apply these instructions in our life. Then we can get rid of these attachments at proper time. When the time will come, we can become liberated. So Vedic culture is giving us an ideal procedure how to get rid of this attachment. If one entered the Grihastha ashram, it's not forever. One has to, at proper time, one has to take next step. And one has to be ready for that. One has to hear Srimad Bhagavatam every day. Nashta prayeshu abhadreshu nityam Bhagavata sevaya Bhagavatyukta nashloket bhakti bhavati naishtiti tadarajas tamo bhava kamalobhadayashe chetayatara paridam stitam sattva prasidati evam prasanna manaso Bhagavad Bhakti Yogata, Bhagavad Tattva Vigyana, Mukta Sangasya Jayate, Vidyate Hridaya Granthis, Chilyante Sarvashamse, Drishta Evatmanishvare. If he is hearing Srimad Bhagavatam every day, if we are hearing Srimad Bhagavatam every day and serving person Bhagavat, everything that almost everything, yes, it's said, almost everything that is creating disturbance in our heart will be removed and devotional service will be established in the heart. All the consequences of passion and ignorance will go away and one will be established in the mode of goodness and his mind will be purified and he will attain scientific knowledge of God. And then his Hridaya Granthi will be cut into pieces. And Drishta Evatmanishvare. What does it mean, Drishta Evatmanishvare? What will be the final result? Yes, he will see the Lord. This is the result of hearing Srimad Bhagavatam every day and serving person Bhagavat. Drishta Evatmanishvare. He will attain the darshan of the Lord. And his Hridaya Granthi, this strong knot in the heart, will be cut in pieces. Such a powerful medicine, Srimad Bhagavatam. That's why Srila Prabhupada established Srimad Bhagavatam class. that anyone who wants, he will have this opportunity to come and hear. Otherwise, many people, they don't have so much taste to read Srimad Bhagavatam every day. Sometimes they are opening and reading. But there is wonderful opportunity to come for the class, to hear, to discuss how to apply this knowledge in our day-to-day life. Because many times we are hearing and we don't think that it's applicable for me. Oh, it's very nice. 5,000 years ago, Maharaj Parikshit was hearing this, very nice. But it's not for me. But actually it's meant for us, because we are attached to many sins in our life. We have to become liberated from all these attachments. And Srimad Bhagavatam is giving the solution. And we have to apply this solution in our life. That's why Srimad Bhagavatam class is so important, because we can have discussion how to apply this. Otherwise it will remain a nice verse. Very interesting. But most important is how can I apply this in my life. It's not just a wonderful theory, theoretical knowledge, it's practical knowledge. So we are studying Srimad Bhagavatam not because we want to become scholars. There are many scholars in India, they know Bhagavad Gita by heart. But they don't believe that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of God. What is the use of their knowledge? So, we don't want to become big scholars, we want to become bhaktas. We want to become devotees of Krishna. For that purpose, we have to study Srimad Bhagavatam and we have to apply this knowledge in our day-to-day life. Then our life will become successful. We can have some discussion. We have 5 more minutes.
Sharing these very deep thoughts of a 5-year-old boy who is going to get married eventually and not get attached like this. So as you said, Maharaj, that we have to see what is in it for me here in Bhagavatam. So for a brahmachari, these verses, so what is wife, what are children, and what are the vehicles, and so that it can become relevant for me as a brahmachari.
Yeah. There was a story in the life of Ramanujacharya. Yeah? He has sent his brahmacharis to see one family. And he told them that they should steal from them these golden rings from Mataji. Yeah? And when they came, she saw very strange. Brahmacharis came in her room and stealing her rings. She thought maybe they have some lack of funds in the brahmachari ashram. Okay, let them take. So she moved to other side, that they will take from other hand also the rings. And her husband came, and she said, something strange happened. Brahmacharis came and they were stealing my rings. And I turned the other side for them to take the rest, but they ran away. And this man started to chastise her. Why you disturb them? Let them took everything. Why you are so attached to your wealth? Ah, ah. And another story was when in the brahmachari ashram somebody mixed their coffins, yes? And they started to fight. This is my coat. No, it's mine. So one can become attached even in brahmachari ashram to some comforts. Maybe he has his own room, some parphernalias, nice smartphone, or something else, computer, different things. So he also can become attached to some position. I'm senior brahmachari, I'm temple president. There are also some attachments. And one has to be careful, because instead of developing attachment for Krishna, he can develop attachments to his position, name, fame, glory. So there are also some dangers. So we also have to be careful not to become attached to some material comforts.
I am practicing since 20 years, attached to this ISKCON premises. And whatever I am finding here, so I am trying to get myself attached. But still, I am not satisfied with me. Now I am 78. What should I do now? This is my first question. And my second question is, in these 20 years, in so many temples, I served and all these things. And what I find, so many years, the brahmacharis are practicing. They are giving their heart in these premises. And once upon a time, we learned that some brahmachari, we experienced, they are very good and they are derailed. What? Why it has happened?
What?
Because we are in ISKCON, this information not going out. But suppose such type of information goes out of the ISKCON, then what will happen? It is my request. I do not know my question is correct or not, but I expect something which I can get my spiritual life in advancement. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So first question is what to do. Yes, Srila Prabhupada gave us everything, so we have to follow his instructions. The foremost instruction is to chant Hare Krishna mantra at least 16 rounds minimum on the beats every day. If we have more time, we can chant more. I know many devotees, they are like 75, 80 years old and they are chanting 64 rounds because now they don't have any duties at home and they can chant all day long. So they are chanting more rounds. And also if we have some abilities, strengths, we can do some service for the temple. Is there service in the temple which one can do? Yes, there are many services here that can be done. Also you can preach, because when one is senior person, others, they are hearing from him because he has more knowledge than them. People, they have this tendency to hear from more senior persons, so you can preach also. But I could not understood the second question. What was, if somebody is going out of ISKCON, yes? Degraded. Attachments are there, so one can stay in the brahmachari ashram and think about something else, about his attachments. That's why one can degrade if he's thinking of some attachments, even while staying in brahmacharya ashram or in sannyas ashram. If he still has some strong attachments in his heart and he's always thinking about this attachment, he can easily be degraded. That's why it's very important what we are thinking about, because if we are thinking about attachments, these attachments will increase. So one can be renounced in the household life, like this family of disciples of Ramanuja Acharya. Although they were householders and they have so much wealth, they were not attached. And the brahmacharis, they were attached. So one has to develop real detachment by practicing seriously Krishna consciousness, by thinking how to serve Krishna. If one's mind is concentrated on the source, how I can serve better my spiritual master, he will be very quickly become purified. But if he's thinking about some attachments, he can degrade. Hare Krishna. Now time is off. Grandara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. All glories to the assembled yours. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.